So, hello everyone, Happy New Year! It's still Sandra Jai, and this is still Sandy's Business. Thank you guys for all the support and for helping me take my baby steps to starting a YouTube channel. Now, a lot of people have been talking about how hard and how devastating the last year had been, on them personally, or mental health issues and business. And with the new year, people are beginning to, get a little form of like excitement and hold on to the fact, the hope that things will get better. And now a lot of people are asking the questions: what can we do differently? What should I do differently as an individual to help my business? What should I be doing for my business? How should I project my profits and loss story? How do I forecast the future? So today we're just going to have a conversation. We're not going to be doing any textbook knowledge or anything. We're just going to talk from one human to the other. Let's say it's like a New Year conversation, not a New Year resolution, because people hardly can keep New Year resolutions. So we're just going to have a New Year conversation, And remember, if you like this content, you like it, you subscribe to it, you click the bell, and you spread the word, okay? Let's grow this channel in 2021. So happy New Year's, but still stay tuned. So welcome back, guys. Like I said, let's just have a conversation. It's still the beginning of the year, and I just like us to reflect on what we could have done better last year, what we need to do for ourselves as individuals, and how we need to plan for our businesses in this new year, considering that there's still a pandemic, and we were like really hit last year, 2020 kind of ended on some kind of notes, So I'm going to start talking about what I did personally, how I was able to cope with the pandemic, and how it affected me as a new YouTuber, content creator, ideation, how I was able to navigate work, dealing with mental issues, when it came to the stress and anxieties that the lockdown and the spread of the virus had on me as a person. So I'm going to start to talk about how I was just able to cope generally, because, if you're not mentally stable and you're having so much agitations, it kind of affects your ability to create anything. And for me personally, there were all these highs and lows because the spread of the pandemic, started getting closer to home. We started knowing names, not just statistics. We started to know a family, neighbor, colleague, or someone who had been infected or had died. So at that point for me, it was kind of really difficult for me to always just sit in front of my phone like this and assume that everything was okay and come up with the best of tips for you guys to be able to use to just navigate through the marketing space or business world or whatever. I wasn't particularly always in the mood for it. Not that it's an excuse, you just don't jump ship, but really I realized that if I wasn't in a good headspace, there's just the way I could think with my head, So one of the things that I learned was that it was okay to have down moments, but it wasn't okay not to talk about it. I really needed support system from friends, family, just every now and then to just get some kind of good news, because every time you turn on the TV, there was always news about people dying, the hospital beds getting filled, the government being very confused and all of that. So I'm not going to take that and take you into my world, what I do on a daily, for work. I work in a marketing an agency, so typically what my clients expect me to do is to monitor and understand consumer behavior, look at the market space, the sector where they actually play, and see how I can come up with good plans that help their brands situate properly, resonate with the consumers on a daily, monthly, weekly, periodically, that ultimately will drive their sales and drive top of mind awareness. Generally anything that promotes their brand in such a way that their front, center, and back, just surround the consumer, that sort of thing. So every now and then, I belong to a very vibrant and brilliant team at my agency. We need to sit together and start brainstorming ideas on how are we going to put this brand in the center of every kind of conversation where it pops up. So let's say my client is a milk brand and people are thinking about cereals or having coffee or tea, and you just have to think about milk. My brand has to be that brand that pops up, So here I am trying to create all this stuff with the news about people dying, people getting sick, you don't touch your face, you can't go out, you have to social distance, you have to do this and that. And then you have young business owners trying to survive, because we're trying to survive as individuals on one hand, and then you're trying to survive as a business on one hand. So you could be a business owner, or you could be working with or for a young business owner. So if you're not in the right headspace, you're not going to be able to bring so much to the table apart from more agitation and panic. So I'm going to just keep talking to you about, the learnings, things that we learned as a team and things that I learned personally. So, when we had to reintegrate into the office, we all had to go and get tested for COVID-19 because it was a responsible thing to do. And at that point, we found out that about 1 or 2 people had contact with the virus, but they had already been healing. So they were asymptomatic, and they weren't doing too badly. So everyone had to go back into sort of self-isolation and all of that. And did that scare me? Yes, it did, because I can't tell you for certain that there was anything that I was doing right, apart from the fact that I tried to stay at home during the lockdown more. I tried to eat healthier, I couldn't really get much exercise done really, but I just don't know. I just say God was just very kind to me and all of that. But now we had to get back to work because we had to get paid, because a lot of people lost jobs and some people had to take pay cuts and some offices just outrightly closed down. But we were fortunate enough to stay in business, and now we had clients who had consumers who were now looking everywhere for the best bargains, or looking at their actual disposable income to see what was out there that was for them. And we had to make sure that our clients would always be that brand, that go-to brand for our consumers. So it was tough, considering also the fact that a lot of brands cut their marketing spend, So if typically in 2019 my clients would be saying that we're going to be spending $200 million or 200 million naira or pounds or whatever, now they're cutting their budget down by 40% because they are looking at the economy, how the economy is going, and thinking that a recession is coming and they need to save more. And then we have to work with less, and then there's an inflation rate in the market. So if typically we get some services for a certain amount, now people are tripled the amount because they're trying to cushion the effect of so much else, So it was kind of tough to think about plans that would work on the budget and deliver the actual KPIs. And then we had to set some of our success factors and parameters. So it was actually really tough, but what did we do? We had to think about the fact that we had to stay in business. So I'm going to be talking to young business owners who are thinking, it's 2021, we're going into this year, there's still a pandemic looming, and there's still signs of numerous lockdowns to come if the vaccine doesn't get to us in time. What do I do as a business? How am I just going to survive? I can't go 2 years straight without work before I just pull the plug on life, So I'm just going to give you some tips that will keep your mind at rest. I'm hoping, like I say, it's just a conversation, and that you'll be able to think about how to get yourself out of the woods quickly. Stay tuned, I'll be right back. Okay, so welcome back. Remember, if you're liking this content, just like it, subscribe to it, click that bell, and let's grow this channel. So we're talking about some tips that young business owners can hold close to heart in this 2021 season while we still have the pandemic and all the lockdowns. 1, I suggest you look internally at your team structure, because some people actually just close shop, and look at your business and team structure. Okay, case in point, what kind of business do you do? Do you think that typically what you like on a daily, you have walking customers, and because there's no more interactions and everybody has to sit at home, it means you just have to lock shop and stay at home? Is it possible that you can re-engineer your business in such a way that you can keep a conversation going with your clients and take it to the digital space? Now, if that is the point, hold that thought. Now, look at your team structure, for instance. Who are the guys that make up your team? Maybe you have a receptionist, you have a manager, an office manager, a clerk. I don't know what your company structure is like or what your business is like, but typically I like to give an example. So let's say you deal with, okay, let me pick my friend's business: lights, fittings, interior decor, house makeovers, right? And you typically have a team that has marketing people, the people that install, people who come up with maybe layouts and designs in the office, so strategy unit. I don't know what it's like, and now you've asked us to sit at home and you cannot interact with your regular consumers. And let's say your customers, typically how you engage them would be to drive around neighborhoods and estates that are probably being they're still being developed, and talk to developers about you being able to come and help the new homeowners or landlords, to model their living rooms or sell furniture to them and stuff like that. And now you're not allowed to go out. What can you do differently without firing your team of maybe 6 people who actually bring value to you? So let's look at the internet, digital space. Do you have a digital address? It's not enough for you to be on number 1 Lagos Road or Brown Street, Kent, or something like that. It's not enough. You need to also be found online. Can I Google your business and say, let's say I Google Lighterio, and then I find you and you pop up, and then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in lockdown, but my fence just caved in, or this wall is so dirty, and let's say I'm someone that has OCD, because I really do have OCD, and I just can't stand it anymore. But I'm just thinking ahead of, okay, maybe there will be they're going to relax the lockdown in 6 weeks from now, and I really just have to change this wall. The wallpaper, whatever, is really getting to me, and I'm done. I can't stand this anymore. But now I can't go out. Can I go online, Google Lighterio, find you, and can I have a conversation with you? Can you schedule a Zoom appointment with me, for instance? Can I book in an appointment like I'm going to see a doctor, and you get back to me and say, okay, I'll consult with you 2 p.m. on Monday, for instance. And then I get on a call, and it's a Zoom call, video call, and then I take you through the area, the world, things that need to be done, and then you show me stuff that you have, navigate me through your website, show me catalogs, or show me a color chart, show me different antiques or pieces that you have. Tell me you don't really like the lamp behind me, that drawer has got to go. For this set that I'm working on, you think that I should have some kind of blue lights or whatever. Show me the kind of lights you have. Show me some pictures of something that you've done before for someone with this kind of space. Let's agree on certain things, simulate a look and feel. Hold that thought. Now you look at your internal team, you see all the stuff that we've said. There will be somebody on your team that can actually manage this digital conversation. So is it possible that your so-called receptionist can now be the one to interface and book this appointment, take down all the things that need to be done before a senior manager actually comes to start to provide the solutions? Is it possible? Because if that is the case, then your shop is still open. Just that, the mechanics of how your business is operating has changed. And trust me, you have a lot more people visiting your site because it's actually convenient. From their home, they can get to see all the stuff that you have. You can see the problem, and then you can schedule a meeting to say, okay, on a certain day as this, I can now drive down to your house for actual measurements and to see it in real time. But then you'd have had a placeholder solution that actually might work. So this is just being creative and looking at the times that we're in. If you're not on digital, you're not quite ready. Everyone needs to have a digital address, and everyone needs to look at their team structure. Now, let's look at budgeting, let's look at costs, let's look at being prudent, and let's look at the profit and loss story. Really, like I say, we're just having a conversation, And if you like this content so far, just like, subscribe, click that bell, and let's grow this channel. So let's talk about money. I know that a lot of people had to take pay cuts, some people lost their jobs. This is now for the employee, because we've been talking to the business owner. You need to understand why you need to take a pay cut, and you need to understand your contribution to the profit or loss story. If your thinking is business as usual, the world has gone beyond that. Every penny counts. right now, and if you're not seen to be bringing value that can be translated into money, then you may not just make the team. Because tell you what, the business owner still has to worry about rents. A lot of landlords are not forgoing their rent. They're still, especially in Nigeria, they're still asking for their rent. I'm praying to God that they're not even increasing their rents. They're still going to have to pay for power, that's electricity, amongst other costs. So if you're not bringing in value that can be translated into the naira and the kobo, then you're not worthy to be on the team. That's the way the employer thinks. So you also need to be part of the strategy process. You need to be able to sit with your boss to say, why don't we do this a certain way? We are all in this together. Because it's not just the business owner that suffers. You also suffer when you lose a job, because you get back home, you have your family and dependents, and then you're just getting more frustrated. So I hope we're learning some of the things that we can do differently. I always like to recap. Get a digital address, put your business online, get your team to be part of the process. You need to all strategize together, and everybody needs to pick a role. You need to learn to save more money. You need to know your profit and loss story, because let me tell you something else that's going on. Your consumer on the other end has taken a pay cut at work. So if typically you'd have said, I'm going to paint this wall for, let's say, 500 naira per square meter. Right now, you can't say that, because they're going to tell you, sorry, I can't afford that. So you need to be a bit flexible and have a price rate that actually empathizes with the present situation, because then you're going to use referrals to cover the gap. So the more customers you have, the likelihood that you're going to be able to cushion the effect of the losses, because where one client may pay you the 500, another client may pay you the 300, another client may just be willing to pay you the 600. So you have to learn that there is no like one route to the market anymore. You can't just have one flat rate anymore. You have to be flexible and ready to adjust. You have to keep thinking. You have to look at your competition, because trust me, a lot of businesses are doing things differently. Some people can make their actual physical showroom see-through enough for you to be able to walk through, see the designs and things that they have, take a picture, and then call them on the phone and actually speak about what you saw. But that will only be practical in an environment where there's security and safety. But my point to you is, you need to always monitor competition, because trust me, if your clients are not knocking at your door, that doesn't mean they're not knocking. They're knocking somewhere else. We like to keep the videos a bit straight to the point and sweet and short, so I'm going to stop here. But you remember that if you have questions for me, you can always email me or leave a comment for me at the comment section. My name is Sandra Jai. This is Sunday's Business, and just keep the grind going. See you next week. Bye.